In the last class, we are going through about like what is server, the server operating system, and we have seen about what do you mean by Active Directory, introduction to Active Directory, structure of Active Directory, and features of it. And also we completed the installation part, right? So now let us see that how do we add clients to this DC, that is domain controller, how to create a users inside that, and how to log on into the client PC. So what is that example that we are going to see it? Let me put you into Paint. Now you have seen that an Active Directory server which has been installed. So this is my, what is this server? I install, what is the server? I've installed ADDS, right?
ADS.
Okay, so we install ADDS and this PC becomes, what is it? DC, that means a domain controller. Now this DC we have here, and this server which will be get connected to the network, and from here you get all your client computers, right? So this is one PC example, second PC, and this is third PC. Now these computers which I have, which operating system I'll have in the client PCs, which operating system?
Any client operating system like Windows 10 or
Example,
Windows 10.
Windows 10, Windows 7, of any operating systems which will be running in the client side. Done. So here I'm taking example of Windows 10. So here we installed ADDS and it become a DC. So what will be my next job? Okay, here. And what is that IP address that we are going to take here? First, we have to see the network between the server and the client. So this is my, what I'm saying, this is my client PC and this is my server. Now first we see the network, that is the communication between the PCs, server and client. So how you check the communication? How you check the communications? Let's see. We have to check the IP address of this computer. So when you're working with VMware, yesterday, how do you check this network? Go to settings. In the settings, network adapter, make sure this is in the bridge network and replicate. So once you're done with that, so what I'll do, I'll go for ncpa.cpl. In this, I'll go and check the IP address of my computer, 192.168.0.220. So before you check it, yesterday we have given a DNS IP. Once ADDS is installed, once it is restarted, this IP gets changed. Try to again change the IP of the same as a previous one. Don't change the IP address. Yesterday what you have taken, the same thing you take it in the previous video. Okay, after creating ADDS, you don't change the IP address of this. Now this IP is 220. So let me put the same thing over here, the IP address which I'm getting here, 192.168.0.220, and client will be the same series. This IP address of the computer will be 192.168.0.23, right? And the subnet mask of this will be, as it is C class, 255.255.255.0, and the DNS IP, what is it? DNS IP of the client PC will be servers 192.168.0.22, and if goes with system B, system C, same thing. This IP will be 24 and this will be 25, and DNS will be the common for all the client computers, right? So let me take the client operating system. So as I'm using VMware, we have a feature that we can take simultaneously operating system, different operating systems over here based on your RAM requirement. Let me check it. So Which one I have to take it? Last time we have taken this 2, right? So in the same PC, which will be running server and also which we run a client operating system. So this is what which I'm trying to take the client one. So next step, I'll check the communication by assigning the IP address. Right. So now I got my Windows 7. Let me log into my Windows 7. And as it is VMware, what I'll do, I'll right click here, go to settings, check this adapter also. See here, this is also into bridged. If it is not there by default in your computer when you're doing practical, it can be like this. So just try to tick both the options, go and check the IP address. So what is the IP address that we want to give it to this now? So we have taken there, right? What is the IP address that I have to give here?
.23.
192 dot
192.168.0.23.
220.
done. DNS IP will be, what is it? 220.
Same as the IP address.
Same thing which I've taken here, right? Done. Click OK.
మీరు అక్కడ రివర్స్ సార్ పైన 223.
Sorry, the number you have taken here, what is it? 220. Okay. And the same one I have given 22. It is T220 as a DNS IP. Done. So now I got 192.168.0.223. What is it? 223 here, which I'll be getting. Anyone? 223. Right. So and 220 is the same IP. So let me take it the same one, 223 and 220. Click OK, OK, close. And now you check the communication between that computer and this computer. So what is it? 192.168.0.2223. What is the server IP? 223. Then check the communication. Now I'm getting reply. When it is giving reply, that means I have a communication between my server and this. If you want to check from this side, you also go into server and check communication by using ping command 192.168.0.223. Sorry, what is it? 223 only, right? Right, sir. Now I'm getting reply from the client also. Done. So now once I complete checking the communication, okay, this is the first step which I'm saying. What will be the second step that you will be doing? The second step that you do is that add the client to DC, that means domain controller. So as I said you yesterday, whenever you install operating system, by default this will be into work group. By default this will be into work group. So now what is my agenda? To change this from work group to domain. How do I do it? Go to change settings, change, click on domain controller, and what is the DC we have taken? tcs.com. You want to check it, cross check it, go here and check your domain controller. What is the domain name? tcs.com, yesterday which we created. The same thing which I'm giving here, tcs.com. Once you did that, click OK. It is asking the username and password of your server, because this should have that credentials. People who know about that, then only they can add that into their domain. And the password of the server computer. Check the spellings when you're doing administrator and the password. Okay, what is the password which you are giving here? This is a server password. If you want to cross check it, log off and log in, then you come here and give it. Once you do this, you should get a welcome to tcs.com. Can you see this? And click OK. Once you click OK, close, it will ask you to restart the computer, and this shall be get restarted. So once if it is restarted, then this client computer will be under the domain controller. Automatically it get restarted, but once again I'm doing it, right? So this is what which I've said, that add the client, okay, to a domain controller, from which, from system properties, from the system properties, by you going is in these options. Once you do that, what will be the next step that I'll be doing? Okay, this will be doing it in the client end, right? This is which will be doing in the client end. And on the server side, that means on the DC, what I'll do means I'll create a user. Okay, in server with the name of example u1. So where I'm creating this u1, this is third step which I'll be doing. This u1 which I'll be creating here in the server. So this result should be this u1 which I'm user one which I created in the server. This u1 should able to log in into the client PC. Let us check it, okay, with that. So how to create a user now? So it's got restarted. You want to check this, you can go and check this whether it is under the control of domain controller or not. Go to computer properties. So here it should display you tcs.com. That means this computer is under the domain controller. You can see the option here. Can you see that tcs.com? This PC is a computer name, and tcs.com is a domain which you can see here. Previously what you have seen that this computer is under the work group. Now this computer is under the domain controller. So this is a domain controller. So what is our agenda now? What I'm trying to say, create a user in the server. So let me take server operating system, go to server manager, and from here go for tools, and here you get an option called as users and computers. So when I enter into the users and computer, so here it will ask me, okay, to expand the domain controller. So this is your domain controller name which you have given, and in this go to users and right click, you get an option called as new, and here you give a option u and giving as a u1, and login name the same as u1, right? So next, and the password which you want to give to that user, I'm using snat@123. So when this option is there, it will ask the user the next time to change his password. Okay, change his password. Like example, how sometimes you enter into your any of the account, it will ask to give your own password, right? So at the time of creating any account, so this shall also ask you like that. You don't want that user to get changed password. You, whatever the password you have given, he should use the same. Then use this option as a tick mark. Then password never expires. Tick this option. Click next and finally finish. Now you can see that there is a user which was created, and these are all the inbuilt users. You don't worry about this, that we'll see later. But as of now, I'm trying to make you to understand how do we create a user. And this user which I've created, this is called as a domain user. So domain user in the sense he can log in anywhere in these computers, right? So now before this user get login, so your job as an admin that to make add all the computers under the DC. So in the organization, every computer will be under the DC. That makes that the users to go and log in on any PC by giving their credentials. That means username and passwords. Now for here the example, let's see in practical way whether the user U1 could able to log in into the client PC or not. Let's go to Windows 7, and here you can see here this is a user administrator who added to domain controller. And let me log off. Example here, which level engineer comes and works on this level? Here L1 engineers plays a role. Okay, who will be adding all client pieces to a domain controller. So here, which level engineers plays a role? Here, L2 engineer, which we say about system admins, right? So that person will work over here. Now, once this L1 engineer add a computer to the domain controller, and from there, users, that means employees, will try to come and log in here. Employees is example U1, control alt insert, and here he will not go with the administrator account because the employees doesn't know the password about this. The IT admin who are there, okay, this person will not share any passwords over here, but U1 knows his username and his password. So here, what U1 use? Go to switch users, other users, give here U1, right? And the password which the administrator is given to him. And from there, he tries to log in. So once he enters his username and password, it checks the authentication, the credentials of the users. If everything goes fine, then the user is allowed to log in into this computer. First time when user is getting login, it takes some time because it has to prepare its own document, desktop and all. This is how the users can log on anywhere, and any resources, any services which is been what is it given by the server can be applied on the computers and the users in the networks. So yesterday's class, which we're learning about ADDS, it maintains the objects information. This U1 user is available with the ADDS. That's how the client computer could able to log in into this computer. Now let us check it thus. Can you see this? A user has been logged in, and this is called as a U1 user. Okay, so this U1 user, now what he can do with this computer, if he's a developer, he gets a developing application and he'll be start working over here. And here, okay, the fourth step, what you create a user, and what is the fourth step? Login in client PC, right? So here the user which was created, this user is called as a standard user. Which user is it? Standard, okay, user. The standard user, which I'm saying, what credentials he get means he can only use the computer, use the PC. He cannot do, he cannot, what is it? Do any changes, okay, to the PC. What do you mean by changes? For example, if this user is trying to uh, install any application, it will not allow. It will ask for the administrator password. So in the organization, okay, this employee's job is to use what applications which are been installed, but not to do any changes or install or uninstall anything. So for an example, let me try. Previously, we are trying to change the IP address, right, with the administrator credential. Now let us try to do the same thing. Okay, for this, I'll go for ncpa.cpl, and here I'll try to change this IP address of, it is asking my administrator password. We cannot do that changes. And last time we are trying to add it. Now let me try to remove this, okay, from the domain controller by going to system properties, change settings. It is asking for the domain controller password, DC password. That means administrator password. So with this, what did you what you have to understand is that the employee which is coming and logging into the computer, he can only use the computer, but he cannot do any changes to the computer. That changes will be done by the technical support engineers and the system administrators. And as per the client employee or a user requirement, the IT support team is accountable, okay, to give required applications to the user. That means to deploy the required applications to the user. And if any changes, any support, this team only will come and do the changes. Done. So what you do understood by this? With this, you know how to create a Active Directory domain controller, and with this, okay, you know how to add a client computer to DC, and from there how a users log in by creating a user in the server and logging into the client PC. So this type of network which I'm saying, this is called as a domain network. Okay, and which we say about in domain network, what the advantages which we'll be getting? We get centralized administration. What is centralized administration? Yesterday we were discussing. Centralized administration is something that, what is it advantages that you'll be getting? if I want to do apply anything, okay, on the users or on the computers, on the application, that can be do it on the ADDS server itself. Example, if I wants to disable this user, okay, what I'll do, I'll not go to the client, I'll directly disable it from my, okay, server itself. So for an example, let me right click and disable this account. Now the U1 account is got disabled. Let me try to check the result. Let me log out from this uh, U1 and let me try to log in once again with the same credential and check. Let me check whether I could able to log in or not. Now you see that your account has been disabled. Please contact your system administrator. So in this case, so anything, any changes, if you want to apply for a users or the computers, that you will be doing from the server itself. Now if I want to log in once again, let me see. Now you can see the user could able to log in. In the same way, when users complains that I forgot my password, what you can do, directly you can change the password by sitting on the server. Now I have given SNIT underscore 123. Okay, the password has been changed. So once you log off and log in, that you can be given, it will take the newly change the password. Now I'm giving SNIT underscore 123. Now it has taken, right? So this is how that will be working with the Active Directory domain services. And in this, with this, we have seen that user management, configuring client and creating users in ADDS and made them to log on, okay, into their computers. This sort, and in the coming classes, we'll be learning about member servers, how do we create, and client configurations, these all things. Thank you all.